This SkyJacker Black Max dual steering stabilizer kit is for those of you that have a 2007 and up JK that are looking for a fairly inexpensive dual steering stabilizer setup for your Jeep. This one's going to install fairly easily. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 3 wrenches. You're not going to have to do any major drilling and cutting, welding onto your Jeep to get this installed, and the whole thing should bolt up in about an hour, maybe a little bit more. We'll talk more about that in just a second. Now, anytime you're considering a new steering stabilizer, or more accurately, a new steering dampener, it's very important to understand what they do versus what they don't do. A steering dampener is there to dampen some of the feedback that comes through your steering system, your steering linkage, up into the steering wheel from the road. So a little bit of that feedback will be lessened and kind of smoothed out, dampened as it says in the name. A steering dampener, a steering stabilizer, is something that is a luxury and not a necessity when you have a properly set up suspension. If you are using one of these, if you're purchasing a new one, or if you're purchasing a dual steering stabilizer setup in order to get rid of a wobble, certainly death wobble or possibly bump steer, that is not the purpose of a steering dampener. If you have any one of those 3 issues, there is a way to diagnose it and there's a proper way to fix it. By just throwing a steering dampener at it, it might cover up the issue for a short period of time, but you're just going to end up blowing out your new steering stabilizer and still ending up with the same issue. So again, if you have a wobble, you have death wobble, you have bump steer, fix the problem first, and then if you want to add a new steering stabilizer, go for it. But this is not going to be a solution to those problems. Now, a steering dampener in general is just going to be a 50/50 valve hydraulic shock, and a $30 or $50 one is going to perform pretty much the same as the most expensive ones. The most expensive ones are going to be built out of a little bit of a better material. They're probably going to be aluminum. They might even be adjustable. So you're going to get some additional features, but do you really need that? For 99% of us, you're not going to need a steering stabilizer that costs $300. That $50 OEM replacement one is going to do just fine. So if you've broken, bent, you have a leaking steering stabilizer, you want to replace it, an OEM one is probably just fine for you. Now, if you are interested in a kit like this, if you do want to run dual steering stabilizers, you're okay with the additional wear and tear that that's going to put on the rest of your steering system, then I do think that this one from SkyJacker is going to be a pretty decently priced one. They are going to provide you with 2 50/50 valve shocks. They're going to provide you with all the brackets and the hardware that you need to get them installed. Now, one of the nice things about this steering stabilizer kit is that it does flip the steering stabilizer up on top of the tie rod, which is going to offer some additional protection when you're off-road versus the steering stabilizer in its factory location. So as far as the construction goes, like I said before, this is going to include everything you need. There's a bunch of hardware that comes with this kit, all of the brackets that you see, and of course your 2 steering stabilizers. Everything is going to bolt right up to the Jeep, making for a nice easy install. To get this installed, again, 1 out of 3 wrench installation, about an hour's time, maybe a little bit more. The first step is going to be removing that factory steering stabilizer. You'll do that by unbolting it from the axle side and also from the drag link side. You're going to get rid of the factory bracket, completely remove everything from the Jeep as far as the factory steering stabilizer goes. Then you'll go ahead and start bolting on your new brackets. Follow the instructions. There is a little bit of measuring that you're going to need to do to make sure that as you turn the steering wheel, you're not going to max out either one of these stabilizers, but these are going to attach onto your steering linkage with U-bolts, so everything is fully adjustable. Bolt everything into place and you're going to be good to go. This set of dual steering stabilizers from SkyJacker will run you right around $150. Again, if you want dual steering stabilizers, I think one of the less expensive kits that has a fairly basic 50/50 valve hydraulic shock is the way to go, and that's what this kit's going to offer you. It's going to come with all of your hardware. It's going to be a pretty easy install, so I don't think it's going to be a bad price. So if you're looking to add a set of dual steering stabilizers to your JK, I'd recommend taking a look at this kit from SkyJacker, and you can find it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.